start mid-July 2026, and Alan and I are going to share a little bit here. But thanks for staying, and I know it's brutally hot tonight, and I didn't bring any water. I forgot my water. Well, one of the things we like to do at All Nation Soccer Club is have someone share their story, and Alan's going to just sort of do a continuation of his story, and I'll introduce it a bit. A lot of guys our age, and really any age, but they struggle with anxiety. Does anyone here know what anxiety is? Yeah, go ahead. Trevor, raise your hand. Go ahead and say it.
It's like...
Get over there, son. What's anxiety?
Your body randomly goes into fight or flight.
Yeah. So yeah, you get these feelings of fear that come over you, and it's debilitating. And it seems to be heightened a lot with all the new technology that we're seeing, like with the phones, you know, always being on the internet. And now with AI, it seems to be getting worse because the AI sort of takes the place of relationships. And so instead of having relationships, you've got a machine, and that's kind of scary because they're not really your friend. You know, like all the Instagram followers and all the Facebook friends, and now you've got these, you know, it started with Siri maybe. You know, on Apple phones, and then it sort of morphs into all these things like Grok and Gemini, and you guys probably know it better than I do. But the anxiety is just getting really, really to epic proportions. And so, Alan, share a little bit about your story, and I'll share a little bit about what I'm seeing, and we'll maybe some people will be blessed by this. That's our prayer, and that you'll see that you're not alone, and so carry on, Alan.
All right, well, first of all, guys, I ain't gonna lie, I'm cooked, so my head.
You're tired?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's slang for cook, for the old heads.
Yeah, for the old heads. Yeah.
But
when you're weak, you're strong. You know, that's sort of a thing we believe. You know, so
yeah.
Just let it rip, Alan. Tell us the truth.
For those that don't know me, my name's Alan. I've been coming to All Nations since 2023. Not every day, or not every Sunday and Thursday, but I've been coming here since 2023. Rangers from Nashville, Tennessee, 24 years of age, families from Thailand and Laos. So one of the things I want to talk about is mental health, like what Paul said about anxiety and depression and all these things. Almost 2 years ago, actually, I shared for the first time here, and I was in a really, really rough place. I was depressed, I had a lot of anxiety, and I was just stuck in life. I was 22 years of age back then, just in a really bad spot. And I thought I was worthless. I thought that even the slightest look of somebody, I thought nobody liked me. I thought I was always getting judged, and all these little things were just getting to my head. So the biggest thing that I did is seek help. And the first person I actually went to was Paul. Paul was willing to pray for me, and Sherry, she's not here, but I was willing to just to be humble. I think a lot of times, especially for men, we tend to hold our emotions. We tend to say that we got this, be a man. But in reality, you know, how much can we take that in? I know we all come from different backgrounds. I know for my culture, you know, men are trained, are wired to hold our emotions, or if we show our emotions, we're counted as weak. The message I want to share is, like, if you're battling something, seek help. Whether it be your friend, whether going to counseling. You know, we pass people each and every day not knowing what they go through. We come to All Nations every day not knowing what people go through. And I want to give credit to you, Paul. I feel like this is a space to where we can just pause from all the ancientness, pause from all our battles. But at the same time, when we leave here, what battles are you still facing? And more so, how are you going to face those battles? And so for me, I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus. I put my faith and trust in him, and I still need help. And I believe that Jesus has given me a heart of humility just to seek help, and I believe that Jesus has given us community. And if you don't believe in God, we still have people around you. So all I want to say is seek help. You're not alone. Paul is willing to pray for you or help you.
Yeah.
I'm here to help you. I know you, maybe some of y'all don't know me, y'all just met me, but just know I care about you. And you're not alone. So
Thanks, Alan. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And you know, a lot of the guys here, I mean, they've gone through horrendous stories. Like Sai, who's behind the camera, when he shared a story, man, I almost cried. I mean, He was in a refugee camp for many years. And a lot of the guys here don't have fathers because they've been killed in civil wars, or the father's just not around, or the father's busy. He's just trying to, get bread on. He's trying to pay the bills, and that's super hard. And so, we all have our situations, but, and then, and Alan talked a bit about mental health, and that's sort of a dirty word almost. We feel like, well, if I have to go to get mental health, then I'm a nutcase or something. And I've been going to counseling off and on. My wife will say, honey, it seems like there's a couple screws loose there. You're getting really angry. What's going on? And I said, well, I'm feeling all these things. And she goes, well, why don't you go to the counselor for a couple sessions, and I'll go and I'll come back, and she'll help me, and we'll just talk about stuff. And then, in the Bible, there are all these people that were like demon possessed. And, maybe those were the mentally ill back then. I don't know. I don't have great insight into this. But, we hear voices, like, you're no good, or, you're not worthy, or, you need to be afraid, if you don't pass this test, your whole world's going to come apart. And I was reading this passage. I read the Bible every day, and, Alan talked about being a Christian or not being a Christian. It doesn't, as far as this topic, you'll see that, faith is a process. And it's our faith that gets us through the anxiety, I think. But it's a process. And so one of the processes I do is I read the Bible with the idea of getting to know Jesus and getting to know God, not just to get the information. But I was reading this passage maybe yesterday or the day before, I can't remember. And the Jesus and the 12 disciples are on a boat. And the boat's, there's this horrendous storm, and it's just getting worse and worse. And Jesus is asleep on the boat. He's like on a cushion. It says he's on a cushion sleeping. And all the men on the boat are terrified. And they wake him up and they say, Jesus, wake up, wake up. We're going to die. And Jesus is like, what's wrong with you guys? Why are you still afraid? Why don't you have any faith? And he says, be calm, be still. Peace, be still is what he says. And then the Bible says there was great calm. And then it says all the men on the boat, the disciples, were even more terrified because who is this guy? The wind and the waves obey him. So there's a bit of humor there. But the idea of great calm. There's all sorts of drama going on in my family. We got 2 babies on the way. We got someone with cancer. We got properties, next to us are all being developed, and we got this little farm. And what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And but there was great calm. And that's the thing I've been claiming is just great calm. God's got this. He can take care of it. But you might not be there. You might have to read that passage and ask God to show you, what that's all about. And Chris, did you want to chime in here? Just come on up if you got something you want to say. But don't feel if you're alone, if you are struggling with anxiety or depression or just feelings of shame. I love the way Cesar put it. How did you say that?
Anxiety is your body response going into fight or flight.
Going into fight or flight.
Sometimes for no reason. Sometimes there's no trigger.
Yep. There's no trigger. It's just a physiological response. And that can be quite debilitating and very hard to function. But the great thing about that is, like Alan, how do you feel about it? When you can talk about it in front of the guys here, how does that make you feel about your anxiety?
It makes me feel seen. It makes me feel that to a group of people that I barely know. I've been coming for a long time. You guys feel like family to me. We may not hang out outside of here. It makes me feel seen, makes me feel known, makes me feel loved, that I'm willing to share my struggles with y'all and what I went through.
And that's the way it works. When you're in community and you can share with other people and you're together, that makes all the difference. It's just night and day. But when we're alone and we're not going to tell anyone because we're ashamed and we're afraid to tell people, it gets worse and worse. You just get hunted down. But Chris, I'll let you interject here if you want to come up and just tell us what's on your mind, and then we'll wrap it up here.
I just love the authenticity, being vulnerable, being honest, because we all are. And I love what you said earlier about just as men, we're expected to be strong. We're expected to work hard. We're expected to grind through it and just be tough. But we're human just like everybody else, and give ourselves some grace, give ourselves some compassion. Find friends, find family, find people to lean upon. To Paul's point, therapy, I've been doing therapy for years. It's not a big deal, If you need someone to talk to, if you need someone to help in a marriage that's not working, or a friendship that's not working, or a job that's not working, you know, you're not there to do it alone. And don't ever feel that worthlessness. You know, what I heard this from a sermon and it really hit me. It's like when God thinks of you, what does he think? You know, you think that he's happy? You think he's mad at you? You think he's angry at you? You know? And my perspective on this is that there's a God that just loves me like silly, funny. He's like, yeah, I'm stupid and I make mistakes but he's not there judging me. He's not there saying, hey, Chris, you did okay, but you need to do these other 10 things to be worthy to be loved and cared for. But just this capacity, you know, to just feel like you're worth it, like you're worthy, no matter what you do, is a, you know, freeing perspective or a freeing surrender on how you live your life, which I just love. But just both you guys say it so well. Thank you for kicking this off. That was really lovely to step up and say what you said. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You know, there's a passage in the Bible where it says that God rejoices over us with loud singing. So when he looks at us, when he looks at you, he's happy because you're just the way he made you made him. He made you. And so, you know, we have to face a lot of really rough realities in this life, like I got to get a job, or you know, I'm having trouble finding a woman to marry. You know, it's just not working out. There's all these really tough things that we're working through. You know, when you face the facts, it can be very anxiety provoking and very challenging. But what I'd encourage you to do is face the facts, but then face God, who's all powerful, who created you to be victorious in all the challenges that that you're facing. And if you need help with that, come to me. I might say, I have no idea, dude, but I'll pray for you. And when I go home, I'll tell my wife if that's okay with whoever I'm talking to, and we'll pray for you because we pray together every night. We try to, and we'll pray for you. And then if it's really bad, I have a group of people that pray at the church, and we'll just pray for you. And you'll be amazed at what will come raining down. You will be amazed. God answers prayers, and he's faithful. He's there for his people, and we are his people. He created us to be his and to give him glory. So thanks for listening. I know it's a lot to take in. We will be here again on Sunday at 5. So look forward to seeing you. And just come on, bring some kids, because Teal Bunbury, who's a soccer, just recently retired soccer pro, he'll be here teaching the kids. So the World Cup finals is at what time?
I think 2.
2?
Yeah.
So that'll be done around 4, and then you can leave and come here and act it all out. And then you know, the kids will be here, and then I've got to go to a birthday party because I'll have some real anxiety if I don't show up at my granddaughter's 3-year-old birthday party. There'll be some fear to be had if I don't show up. So I'm going to come here, get it started, and then I'm going to head out. I won't play, but I'll be here, and so you guys will have a great time. And thanks a lot, and we'll hold it there. Thanks, and hang on, I'm here if anyone wants to talk.
Thanks, everybody.